DK checking in once again. And
It's just me and my disciples, talking to God while we smoke dope. We keep the lighter in our circle.
good morning, everybody. It's me, Anna DK, checking in once again. And I'm going live about something that's been on my heart. And I'm not going to worry about tagging because I'm not going to get too many likes, amen, shares, or comments on this one, and that's okay. But I want to talk to you today about dealing with people who don't think about things the way you think about things. I want to talk to people who deal with people every day. Like, let's say you are a Christian and you work with a bunch of Muslims. Let's say you are black and you work with a bunch of whites. Let's say you are a woman who works with a bunch of men, or a man that works with a bunch of women. Let's say that you carry more traditional beliefs and someone else carries more progressive beliefs. The point is, they don't think like you. What's up, Tawana? How you doing this morning? Did you go back and watch the video that me and Kimia did that day? I put it on YouTube as well, so you can always go to YouTube, go to me, Anna DK, and you can watch it. It's titled Teens and Sex, okay? And coincidentally, right now, it has the most views out of any of my videos except for the Snickers coffee creamer. Cool. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I told every parent I know, if they have teenage daughters, to watch it. Anyways, good morning. So we are talking about people who don't believe like us, okay? And the best example that I can use, what I'm going to use for this live, are Trump supporters, okay? Most of the people that I know, good morning, Sharonda, how you doing? Hey, it's 3 people on the live. I can't see everybody, but good morning, everybody, okay? Make sure you share this live if you care. Like I said, it's not going to be one of those things that make you feel good, but it's what's on my heart right now. So this is what I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about Trump supporters, okay? We're going to talk about how we treat people who don't believe the way we do, but we're going to use Trump supporters as the example, okay? Trump supporters in 2019 are damn near coined racist just because they support the president of the United States, okay? And while I agree that the president is racist and that a lot of his supporters believe racist things, I do not believe that all Trump supporters are racist. Good morning, Jen. What's up, boo? I do not believe all Trump supporters are racist, okay? Now, here's why I say that. Because there are a ton of people that are in the Republican Party right now and they support Trump because their mama supported Trump. And their mama supported Trump because their mama supported Trump. And there are people who are in the Republican Party right now that support him because he supports their fiscal ideals. There are people that support him because he is a right-wing evangelical. Well, he appeals to right-wing evangelicals. There are people who support him because they own 8 apartment buildings and his tax plan supports their pockets. There are people who support him for a bevy of reasons. But I can guarantee you that there are people in the world that do not support him because of his racial views, right? Okay. So I'm going to keep in mind how many viewers I lose on this live because I understand what I'm talking about. Anywho, we have to be careful as people of color. The label that we are quick to give people who don't believe like we believe, okay? We cannot give every Trump supporter the racist moniker, okay? We can't do it because it just doesn't work that way, right? And let's go white and black, okay? Now, keep in mind, I'm not here to support anybody's position. I'm only speaking about my own opinion on these matters, okay? So let's talk about white and black. We call white people racist because they support Trump. We call white people racist because they support his immigration policy. We call white people racist because they support whatever the fuck policy he got going on right now, right? Okay. Well, keep in mind that although, white people do have white privilege, they also lack the ability of perspective. They lack the ability to understand what it's like to ever live as a person of color. Now, some people would say, well, you don't even understand, so you should understand your privilege. But think about it. They don't understand, so they cannot understand where we're coming from. Not because they don't want to, but because they don't have the ability to. The reality is there is no history of Chloe, Heather, Cody, and Tyler ever being locked up because of the color of their skin. There is no history of little Beth or whomever the fuck ever being discriminated against because of who they are. What's up, Monica? And what's up, Twin? What's going on with y'all? So I'm talking, going back very briefly, talking about how to deal with people who don't think like you. Okay. And I'm talking about Trump supporters and white people mostly, because that's something that we can all deal with. That's something we can all get behind. Okay. So anywho, Beth and Cody and Tyler will never be discriminated against because of the color of their skin. They will never have a higher mortgage because they're white. They will never have a higher car note because they're white. They will never know what it's like to fear the police because they're white. So there are some things that they cannot put themselves in our position for. There are some things that they don't have the ability to understand no matter how hard they try. They will never have to give their sons the talk about police. They will never have to give their sons the talk about the criminal justice system because it is made for them. So it's funny how we can understand that, but we don't have no empathy when we're talking to them. Like, everything is not, oh, you white, so you don't understand. Some things are, you will never understand because you're white. You cannot understand because you're white. So there are some things that are not even worth my breath explaining to you. Do you understand what I mean? And not in a fucked up kind of way, but just in a there's no need to have this discussion kind of way, because you'll never get my point of view, right? So it's why we need more representation, because to believe that right now there are about 50 white men that are going to decide what to do with women's bodies, that's almost asinine, because they'll never understand what it's like to be a woman. So how can they then talk about what to do with women's bodies, right? That seems fair enough. But why don't we have that same understanding when it comes to race relations? Why we don't have the understanding of knowing they can never understand what we're going through. They can never give an unbiased opinion. We have to have that same understanding. Now, here's what I'm not saying that you owe white people anything. I'm saying when we process how we feel about a thing, it is important to include all things in with what you're processing, right? That's sort of like asking a man why he's not more on board with like women's shit. He doesn't understand, and he never will, even if he grew up with a mama and 3 sisters. Do you understand what I mean? He understood how they felt, but he ain't gonna never understand, right? So yes, control as usual. You're right about that. But if we flip that over to where we are, like, you have to understand, like, no, you don't have to understand. What I'm trying to point out is, like, for instance, let's talk about this whole Colin Kaepernick and kneeling thing, right? White people were mad because all they see is the stars and stripes. To them, the police are heroes. They don't have the kind of relationship with the police that we have. They don't have those same experiences. As they're growing up, the little white boys are being taught that policemen and firemen are heroes. They're being taught that they're the greatest thing that this country has ever seen. The same thing with our heroes in uniform, our vets. They're being taught there's nothing better than them. So if you get to high school and you see a bunch of black people saying, fuck the police, the first thing you're going to think is, oh shit, they're coming up against my childhood. They're coming up against something I've learned my whole life. No, fuck you. Blue lives matter. Right? But not because they hate you, because they love the police. Because that has been their upbringing. It has not been our upbringing where we get talks about the police. We get warned about the police. All of that shit. They don't have that. All they get is the police, the firemen, the vets. They're all heroes. That's it. Okay? So it's important when having a conversation with someone of a different race and upbringing to understand that they're not like you. And to understand that that doesn't have to be a bad thing. You can foster some real understanding and some real change if you just take the time to be empathetic to somebody that's not like you. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the LGBTQIA plus community, right? There has been much ado about like things like gender neutral bathrooms and not being able to discriminate against LGBTQIA plus. I like to say the whole thing. It's so funny to me. And it would seem as if my opinion might be slightly biased, but it's not. The addition of rights for another group or individuals does not equate the absence of your own rights. Okay? If you don't like gender neutral bathrooms, then perhaps you shouldn't use them. Let me take a sip of coffee on that. Same with abortions. If you don't agree with abortions, perhaps you shouldn't have one. And that's the extent of what abortion has to do with you. And that's the extent of what gender neutral bathrooms have to do with you. Okay? Gender neutral bathrooms are for you if you want to use them. But if you don't, then they're absolutely not for you. And that should be the end of it. Because see, these people are not like you. Good morning, Dizzle. What's up, JC? It's almost like we as people are built in with this internal thing that says that when you give somebody else something, like it's coming at the expense of your own shit. And it's not, right? Like people are saying, you know, they made much ado about the maxi pad thing, how they took the woman's sign off the maxi pad. I guess my problem with that was, honey, as a woman with men trying to get shit accommodated to fit them to be a woman. As a woman with men trying to get shit accommodated to fit them to be a woman. What I don't understand, friend, on that is what it has to do with you. You know you're a woman. Everybody in your life knows that you're a woman. You do. And I don't think that you care that there's a plus sign on the maxi pad. When you start talking about what other people want, hey April, hey Mark, when you start talking about what other people want, it's like that's other people. That's their shit. And it affects their life. So like, for instance, the thing with trans people, right? We say trans people, you know, these men wanting to be called women or whatever the fuck. And it's an agenda. There's not an agenda. These people have been around since the day before forever. Trans people have always wanted visibility. It's not new. Trans people have been fighting for decades for visibility. And now, decades later, they are finally starting to get visibility. Now you have straight people mad because trans people have visibility. Because somehow y'all feel like them having visibility is infringing upon your rights as a person. And it's not. They're not changing your rights. They're adding rights for them. See, the thing is, you feel like it's an attack on your personal right to be a woman, but it's not. They're adding rights for people that are not like you. That's what they're doing. They're not redefining what it is to be a woman. You're either a woman or you're a man. There are people who have not a problem. There are people who process this differently. They do not think like some other people think. And they want the right to be seen. Now, people say it's a gay agenda, but here's my opinion on this. Y'all have been seeing mom and dad on TV since TV has been around, right? Because they wanted you to see mom and dad and kids on TV. And I'm totally with that shit, for sure. But while there was mom and dad and kids on TV, there were gay people existing in the world, never being able to see themselves on TV, never being able to see someone that looks like them on TV. And so in the last, let's say 5 or 10 years, there have been more gay people added to TV, right? Okay. There are people mad because they see more gay and shit, more gay and trans shit on TV. Well, why don't these people deserve to see themselves on TV? What is the problem with having more gay people and trans people on TV? It doesn't affect the fact that you're straight. You're not going to be less straight somehow just because there are more gay people on TV. So it's like, you mad because you can see more men in dresses on TV, but there have been men in dresses for decades not being able to see themselves on TV. So just because you don't agree, because that's not how you were brought up, you don't agree that men should be in dresses. I get that. You're totally right for how you feel. I'm not saying you're right that men shouldn't be in dresses. I'm saying you're right for how you feel, right? You grew up feeling that family is husband, wife, and kids. That's how you grew up. That's how you've been taught. I agree with that's how you've been taught. But there are other people that didn't grow up that way. There are other people that weren't being taught that way. And they deserve to see shit like them on TV too. And here's the thing. If you have a problem with gay and trans people on that show, perhaps you just shouldn't watch that show. 90% of television is 100% heterosexual. 10% of television has gay, trans, and all of this other shit, bisexual, whatever. And it's that 10% that most people choose to complain about. It's not the 90% that's totally heterosexual. And I feel like that is a little bit of narcissism and a little bit of sociopathic behavior. Sociopathic behavior. You know, I feel like just because a motherfucker ain't like you, now you feel like they don't need, like, I don't want my kids seeing that. But there are tons of people who are raising little kids and they're gay and they're trans and they deserve to see somebody that look like them. Who gives a fuck what you don't want your kids to see? Don't let them watch that. That's not for you to let them watch. That's what's up. Choose something else. You want the world to adjust to what you want your kids to watch. And if you really wanted the world to move by a Christian measurement, then you should move to a country that is totally Christian. I'm about to go up right now. So I had to finish that thought. Okay, so Twin, I'm going to read all her shit. Twin says, okay, I saw that. I read that. Okay, trans men in the bathrooms, that ain't my issue. Okay, I'm not mad at trans. It's the appropriation involved. You're going to have to explain that, Twin. I don't think there's any appropriation involved. Anybody who believes there is, please come on the live. But your appropriation has to have nothing to do with who you are as a person or how you were raised. If you were raised as a Christian and you're going to come on here and say it's not right because boys are boys and girls are girls, you're not welcome on the live because this is not a Christian country. We're talking about all people, right? So let's go. Okay. Audia says, if you deny human basic rights, you're dead wrong. True. Twin say they've been around. I don't feel there's an agenda. I have no issues with anyone being gay. I know you don't, Twin. I wasn't directing that at you. I was just saying that in general. I have no issue with media coverage and gays on TV. What's up, Hadari and Antoinette and Esther and Riz? What's up, Riz? Yeah, I understand that it's not your narrative. I get that. I appreciate everybody being able to say how they feel, but it's important to be able to identify your biases when you're talking. And I'm not saying biases as a bad thing. I'm just saying we all grow up with biases, okay? My bias is that I'm a Christian, right? So I'm biased in that, right? I believe in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I believe that Christ died and rose on the third day. And now he sits at the right hand of the Father. And I believe that he's coming back soon for a church without spot or wrinkle. I believe that in my soul, right? I also believe that we were programmed to believe a certain way. Riz, if that's going to be how you feel, bro, that's not the live for you. And that's okay. I'm going to catch you on the next live. So that is my bias, right? So I believe that this is but I also believe that everybody wasn't raised like me. And that's where I am separated from other people. That's where I have my own mind. I don't believe that everybody has to think like I think. Do I feel like my way is right? Yes. But that doesn't mean that I have to tell everybody else and bring them over the head. You understand what I'm saying with my beliefs? Esther says on the side note, where your clothes at? So here's the thing, Esther. Anybody who really, really knows me and has known me for any length of time knows that I never have clothes on. I never have clothes on. When I first started doing this YouTube thing, all my videos, I never had clothes on. And I started, and people was like, you need to put a shirt on. You need to put a shirt on. And I started listening to people. and somehow got distracted because that's not authentically who I am. Who I am is somebody that never has clothes on. And so, like, if I FaceTime you or we talk on the phone or whatever, I'll never have clothes on. I ain't about to put them on now. But I'm not going to show y'all nothing that y'all shouldn't be seeing, you know? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no. So yeah, my clothes are in the closet. In the closet, girl. They're in the closet. So I just want us to be able to understand, never going to stand up, Riz. Just not going to stand up. Yeah, I just want us to understand that when we are dealing with people that are not like us, it is important that we step outside of ourselves, right? And if you feel like, shit, I shouldn't have to step outside of myself, I shouldn't have to, that's cool. Then just don't deal with people that are not like you. You know what I'm saying? What you taking down today, April? Let me find out. What's going on? So I just wanted to be verbal about that. And the first thing that struck me was Trump supporters. I just don't believe all Trump supporters are racist. I believe they're grossly misled, but I believe that white people, if they don't have no ability to understand, what it's like to live in our skin, there are certain things they're just not going to be able to identify with. You understand what I'm saying? I have to change my little way I was sitting. Anyways, do you guys disagree with anything that I've said? And I'm really looking for people who disagree. Why? Because I don't believe I'm the end all be all. I don't believe I have all the answers to everything. And I believe I'm always open to be able to see things from a different perspective. So do I feel like I'm right? Yes. But am I willing to admit if someone brings up something that is also true? Yes, absolutely. So, you know, let me turn my heater off. Hold on. Okay. I know a few Trumpers that aren't racist, and it kills me on so many levels. Right. They aren't. Like, they're Trumpers because they mama and daddy was Trumpers. Or they Trumpers because they, you know, own a lot of real estate property and the tax benefits are something that they can't overlook. And then we wonder, like, how can white people still be Trumpers and not be racist knowing that Trump is a racist? It's very simple. They don't think that they're racist. They don't. They don't feel like just because Trump is racist that they are. Also, they've never had the experience of racism. They're not going to experience anything that black people have experienced. So they can't possibly understand what racism is because it doesn't exist to them. So once you understand that, it helps you to be able to deal with people a little bit better. In my opinion. I could be wrong about that. Just saying. What's up, San? I was looking at San's pictures yesterday. She was out to lunch with her daughter. Her daughter is so pretty. Have y'all seen San's daughter? Good job, Mom. What's up, PJ? So, I just wonder, when we talk about people who don't think like us, what is the first thing that we think about? Is it the fact that you feel like the way you feel is right and that's why you can't fuck with them? Or, I'm talking about dealing with people who are not like you, PJ. We talking about people who believe differently than what you believe. Some white folks automatically expect you to be racist if you listen to Farrakhan. True. But here's the truth. I don't believe that black people can be racist. So, and that's how I feel in my heart. I feel like racism are systems that have set up to keep another individual down. I feel like in order to be racist, I have to have the power to be able to hold that over your head and control your viability as a person. And black people don't have the ability to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? All these systems that are set up in place for us to fail are systems that grossly benefit white people and under benefit black people, right? So I don't believe in that way that black people can be racist. I believe that black people are prejudiced as fuck. Yes, we are prejudiced. I believe we have our prejudices, but I believe every race has their prejudices. I believe we can talk about prejudices of every race right now and we all believe them. but that don't mean it's true. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't believe that in that vein, black people can be racist. I just believe that we're prejudiced. I believe that only people who have the ability to control the movements that you make in your life, and they can hold you back with that very system, those things are racist. They're systematic, there are systems of oppression, and it's systematic racism. Systematic racism is what it is against black people, whether white people do anything or not. They just benefit from the shit. PJ says, I deal with a whole lot of folks that don't think like me. As long as they show respect, I don't care what they believe, and I'm always looking to learn new things. Exactly. That's how I feel. Is there anybody, though, that you wouldn't be willing to learn from? Because here's what's true. I'm the type of person that'll sit down and smoke a blunt with somebody that is a KKK member. I will. I don't mind. Because to me, that's a mental illness. And I want to find out where it comes from. So yeah, let's smoke a blunt. We're not going to have a drink though, because alcohol make people, violent. But we don't do that. So I'll sit down and have a blunt with a KKK member. Why not? I'll talk to the president too. Why not? Let me see what this nigga's thinking. The president is a KKK member, so I'm kind of doing both. But you know what I'm saying? I just feel like you got to be open to the only way you can learn why a person is what they is the way. The only way you can understand why a person is the way they are is if you sit down and have a conversation with them. It's not going to happen listening to sound bites. It's not going to happen like going off of what some statements or whatever that they said. You won't know until you sit down. I would absolutely, yes, twin, I would absolutely talk to a KKK member. And I don't want them to have to hold back. I want them to say everything that they want to say. I'd rather you tell me out in the open who you are. And talk about why you feel that way. Because once you get down to it, it's going to come down to some ignorance and you're not going to want to keep going. It's going to get down to, because I was told that. You know what I mean? Because my daddy, or they can't show you where it really comes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm always willing to do that shit. And maybe, now that it's out in the atmosphere, maybe I'll get the opportunity to. And I'm ready. I got questions. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I thank y'all for jumping on my live. I used to be really worried, or I used to be real like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to just talk to y'all about what's on my heart. I'm going to try to keep the lives less than 30 minutes. And unless I have somebody that wants to come on with me. If there is anybody that wants to come on live with me, then we'll come on and we'll do our thing or whatever. But I'm just going to go off how I feel. And folks either going to like it or they not. And I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I will be starting something new in the next couple of days, maybe Monday. I'll start a little something new on YouTube and on Instagram and the lives I have for Facebook. But anywho, I love y'all. Thank y'all for sticking around. And I swear I do. I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, don't forget tonight, if you're not in the Thickness Fitness group, to get into the Thickness Fitness group. We are going live tonight. We're going to work out. We are working out our abs tonight. We getting that shit in. So go ahead and jump over and I will see you tonight. All right. Bye. This is the ending of my video. Oh, thank y'all for watching.